One of these three coffees is going to leave your teeth looking destroyed. And yes, unfortunately, even though coffee is amazing and most of us rely on it to function, one of these three specific types of coffee will damage your teeth much more than the other two. Which one is it? Stick around because the answer might actually surprise you and it might just change your morning routine forever. Coffee is a daily ritual for so many of us. We love the taste, the energy, the routine. But here's the thing, I wouldn't touch one of these three options, even if it was offered to me for free. Why? Because I know exactly what it does to the enamel, the gums, and the breath. We are going to break this down. But first, we need to understand a fundamental concept about how your mouth works. It's called the buffer effect. In your mouth, you have a natural defense system. Your saliva isn't just water. It acts as a buffer to neutralize the pH of whatever food or drink you consume. When you drink a beverage that is acidic, and coffee is acidic, it enters your mouth and immediately drops the pH levels, making your oral environment more acidic. Think of your saliva like a team of firefighters. When an acidic drink hits your tongue, it's like a small fire starts. Your saliva rushes in to put that fire out, neutralizing the acid and bringing your mouth's pH balance back to a healthy 7 neutral state. This process takes time. Usually, after you finish eating or drinking, it takes your saliva about 20 to 30 minutes to fully neutralize that acid and put out the fire. This is exactly why dental professionals always recommend that you do not brush your teeth immediately after eating or drinking something acidic. If you drink a cup of coffee and then run to the bathroom to brush your teeth 2 minutes later, you are making a huge mistake. Why? Because when the environment in your mouth is acidic, the enamel on your teeth softens slightly. It becomes vulnerable. If you take a toothbrush and start scrubbing those softened teeth, you aren't cleaning them. You are essentially sanding down your enamel with acid. You are scrubbing the acid deeper into the tooth structure. You have to wait those 30 minutes to let the firefighters, your saliva, do their job first. So, keeping that mechanism in mind, let's look at our three contenders. Which one is the worst offender? First, let's identify what we have here. Option number 1 is a double espresso. It's a small, concentrated shot, usually about 1 to 1.5 ounces. It's strong, dark, and intense. Option number 2 is a cappuccino or a latte. This is basically a shot of espresso mixed with a significant amount of milk, whether that's dairy milk, almond milk, or oat milk. You're looking at a much larger volume of liquid compared to the espresso, but it is diluted. Option number 3 is a large black coffee, or an Americano, often carried around in those insulated travel mugs that keep it hot for hours. This is espresso diluted with hot water, or just a large drip coffee. All three have caffeine, all three are coffee, but one is a nightmare for your oral health. Let's start with the winner, the option that does the least amount of damage to your teeth. The safest bet here is the cappuccino or the latte. Here is why. When you take a shot of espresso and you mix it with 5, 6, or even 8 ounces of milk, you are changing the chemistry of the drink entirely. You are diluting the concentration of the coffee. But more importantly, you are changing the pH. Milk generally has a pH that is much closer to neutral than black coffee. When you mix the two, the overall acidity of the beverage decreases. It becomes less aggressive toward your enamel. This is crucial because bacteria in your mouth, specifically a type called Streptococcus mutans, thrive in acidic environments. These are the bacteria primarily responsible for cavities. They love acid and they love sugar. When your mouth is acidic, these bacteria become superactive, producing more acid themselves, which eats away at your teeth. By drinking a latte, you are introducing a beverage that is less acidic than straight black coffee. Therefore, you are creating a less favorable environment for cavity-causing bacteria. Also, consider the staining factor. Because the coffee particles are suspended in milk and diluted, they are less likely to bind immediately and aggressively to the pores in your enamel compared to straight dark coffee. So, for both cavity prevention and keeping your teeth white, the latte or cappuccino takes the gold medal here. Of course, this assumes you aren't loading it with 5 packets of sugar, which would introduce a whole different set of problems. Now, let's move to second place. Which of these remaining two is safer? The concentrated double espresso or the large travel mug of Americano? You might think the espresso is worse because it's so strong. It's dark, it's thick, and it stains cups easily. But actually, the double espresso is the second safest option. This brings us back to the buffer effect we talked about earlier. Think about how you drink an espresso. It's a tiny volume of liquid. Most people finish an espresso in a few sips. The whole experience lasts maybe 3, 4, or 5 minutes max. You drink it, you enjoy it, and you are done. Because you finish it quickly, that acid fire in your mouth is short-lived. Once you swallow that last sip, your saliva wakes up and starts working. The clock starts ticking. Within 20 or 30 minutes, your mouth has returned to a neutral, safe pH level. The exposure time is short. In many cultures, specifically in places like Italy, it is very common to drink a glass of water immediately after an espresso. That is a fantastic habit. By rinsing with water, you are physically washing away the dark pigments and helping to neutralize the acidity even faster. So, despite being concentrated, the espresso is actually not that bad for your teeth because it doesn't stay in your mouth for long. That leaves us with the loser, the absolute worst option for your teeth. The large Americano or long black coffee. Specifically the kind people nurse out of a travel mug. This is the one that will wreck your breath, stain your teeth the most, and significantly increase your risk of cavities. It's not necessarily about the liquid itself, but about how you drink it. We all know that person, or maybe you are that person, who makes a huge coffee in the morning, puts it in an insulated tumbler, and takes it to work. You take a sip at 8 a.m., then you check your email. You take another sip at 8:15 a.m. You talk to a colleague. Another sip at 8:30 a.m. This goes on for hours. You are slowly sipping that coffee until 10:30 or 11 in the morning. Here is the problem. You are destroying the buffer effect. Remember, your saliva needs about 20 minutes after you stop drinking to neutralize the acid. But if you take a sip, wait 15 minutes, and then take another sip, you are resetting the clock. Your saliva starts to work, and then, boom, another wave of acid hits. Your mouth never gets the chance to recover. You are keeping your teeth in a constant acid bath for 3 or 4 hours straight. When your oral environment stays acidic for that long, the enamel stays soft and porous. This makes it incredibly easy for the dark coffee pigments to penetrate deep into the tooth structure, causing those stubborn yellow and brown stains that are hard to remove. But it gets worse. This constant acidity is a paradise for bacteria. You are giving the bad bacteria in your mouth an all-you-can-eat buffet of acidity to work with. This leads to plaque buildup and, inevitably, bad breath. That distinct coffee breath is much worse in people who sip coffee over long periods because the bacteria have been active and multiplying all morning long. There is another hidden danger with this type of coffee consumption that we rarely talk about. It has to do with caffeine and anxiety. A large coffee often contains more caffeine than a single espresso shot, simply due to the volume and the brewing method, which extracts caffeine for longer. When you ingest high amounts of caffeine, it triggers your nervous system. For many people, this manifests as anxiety or jitteriness. When you are anxious or over-caffeinated, a very common physical response is jaw clenching or teeth grinding, a condition known as bruxism. So, let's put the whole picture together. You have been sipping coffee for 3 hours. Your teeth are bathed in acid. Your enamel is soft and vulnerable. And now, because of the caffeine, you are subconsciously clenching and grinding those softened teeth against each other. You are literally grinding away your enamel. This combination of chemical erosion from the acid and mechanical wear from the grinding is destructive. It's a perfect storm for tooth wear, sensitivity, and cracks. If you are hearing this and thinking, oh no, that is exactly what I do, and you're worried your enamel is already taking a hit, don't panic. There is a way to fight back against that bacterial overflow we just talked about. I recently came across a really fascinating presentation about a strange, new, red dental foam cleanse. It's not a toothpaste, but a 10-second daily routine designed to target that sticky bacterial film regular brushing misses, and it actually helps remineralize teeth overnight. If you want to see exactly how it works, grab your phone and point your camera at the QR code right here on the screen. It'll take you straight to a short video explaining this red foam trick. I've also put the link for you pinned in the top comment below, so you can click it right after this video. It is a total game changer for neutralizing that coffee breath bacteria. Now, aside from that, what should you do behaviorally? I'm not saying you have to quit coffee. When I see patients with teeth that look eroded, transparent at the edges, or heavily stained, I can almost guarantee they are the type of person who sips on a large coffee throughout the entire morning. So, what should you do? I'm not saying you have to quit coffee, I certainly won't. But you need to drink it smarter. If you love your large Americano, try to drink it within a shorter window. Don't drag it out over 3 hours. Aim to finish it in 15 or 20 minutes. Once you are done, grab a glass of water. Swish it around in your mouth and swallow. This helps rinse away the residue and kickstarts the neutralizing process. And remember the golden rule. Wait at least 30 minutes after your last sip before you brush your teeth. Give your saliva time to do its job so you don't scrub away your enamel. If you want the safest route, stick to the latte or the quick espresso. But if you must have the travel mug, treat it like a drink, not an accessory that stays in your hand all day long. Your teeth are meant to last a lifetime, but daily habits like this are what age them prematurely. A few small changes in how you consume your caffeine can make a massive difference in how bright your smile stays and how fresh your breath is. Make the switch, drink water, and stop the sipping marathon. Your dentist will thank you.